have a terrible confession to make. I never got into West Side Story. Make no mistake, it is a brilliant movie, a phenomenal musical. It looks great, it's staged great, it's acted great, the story's great, the music's great. But for whatever reason, it just didn't grab me. Something about seeing these two gangs snapping and dancing like ballerinas, it just never struck a chord with me. But I acknowledge, it's one of the most influential movies ever made. So you can imagine when I saw Steven Spielberg was doing a remake, I wasn't really that excited. Do I really need to see him once again prove he understands something that I don't think he fully understands? I say all this to emphasize how much I surprisingly enjoyed this film. This West Side Story is a little bit more what I'm looking for. It's tougher, it's more gritty, it's dirty, it's more violent, it's meaner, it's harsher, yet it still has that great music and some really damn impressive dancing. Seriously, the trailers don't do it justice. Watching the dancing in this is like watching a kung fu master fight. It is so sharp, so fast, and so well planned out that a lot of the time I was wondering if it was sped up. This is a film I would gladly watch again just to watch the choreography. The story, I don't need to go that deep into, do I? You know what it is. It's Romeo and Juliet. Set in the 50s, except the two warring sides this time are street gangs, the Jets and the Sharks. Once again, two star-crossed lovers named Tony and Maria fall in love and, well, I guess I won't give anything away, but yeah, what you think is gonna happen happens. But like in the original, even if you can guess what's going to happen, it doesn't matter as long as it's done really engagingly. And this is. While the original is definitely a big, grand, epic movie, I mean, this is the guy that did like The Haunting and The Sound of Music, obviously everything is gonna look big. This is kind of a smaller looking film. Don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of big shots and again, really big choreography going on, but it really wants to focus more on the personal struggles. You feel like there's a lot of tight shots, there's a lot of people getting in each other's faces. Everything feels kind of tight and claustrophobic because everybody's forced to be squeezed in together in these cities that are being torn apart and rebuilt, and other people are coming in and other people are coming out, and just from a visual standpoint, you understand why these people don't get along. The acting for the most part is all really good. There's nobody I can think of that actually gave a bad performance. Most of them are not only right on point, but some of them are friggin' phenomenal. The guy who plays Riff, I'd be shocked if he doesn't get an Oscar nomination. Which is funny because he always sounds one step away from being John Mulaney in Newsies, but he never quite takes that extra step. A lot of the performances work that way, like man, if they just took one more step this would be ridiculous, but they usually balance it out just enough. Even when it started out and I saw them all snapping and saying, "Jets, go!" I'm like, oh no, I'm not gonna be able to do this. But as soon as both the dancing and the fighting started, it won me over pretty quick. I'm actually astonished Spielberg has never done a musical before. Half of his movies are shot like musicals. A lot of the cliches or Spielbergisms that sometimes work against him in other movies all work as strengths here. Sometimes his directing, especially lately, can be a little distracting in how kind of whimsically cinematic it can be. Here, it all benefits the film. This is what he should have been doing for like the past 20 years. Does it all work? No. There are a couple things that make it a tad awkward here and there. One sadly is the guy who plays Tony. And I want to emphasize, he does not give a bad performance, he just gives an inconsistent performance. What's inconsistent? Everything. The tough guy routine, the nice guy routine, his singing, his dancing. He constantly flip-flopped from hitting complete bullseyes to really being off the mark. But here's the thing, this is hands down the toughest role in the movie. In the original, you just have to be a big, nice guy who's charming and smooth, and yeah, even that takes a lot of talent. Here, this guy has to be legitimately tough and legitimately charming while also dancing and singing, and he has to look like somebody who wouldn't hurt a fly yet could convincingly kill someone. In a musical, that's supposed to be realistic, but you dance like a ballerina. This is a tough-ass performance, but yes, it doesn't always work, and it does affect the big emotional ending a little bit. But part of that could be problem number 2, and this is sadly one I don't think it can help. The film is long, and by God, it feels long. This is 2.5 hours, and to the film's credit, for the first half, I really wasn't feeling it, but man, in the second half, those minutes start to add up. One of the things I'm not sure either helped that or hurt that is that they switch some of the songs around, and sometimes they really work. I really like There's a Place for Us being sung by Rita Moreno from the original West Side Story. And I really like Cool being sung before the battle as opposed to after, trying to convince Riff not to go into the fight. But then there's other weird moves, like I Feel Pretty is done after the big battle. And yeah, on the one hand, it does make it a little bit more tragic because you know what's gonna follow, but at the same time, I'm just watching the song thinking, alright, cute, can we get back to the suspenseful crime story you had going on a second ago? On top of that, I will admit, I have no idea what anyone who loves the original musical is going to think of this. I know a lot of folks who absolutely adore the original movie, and they have seen it multiple times. A lot of fans of the original have, and I'd be lying if I said it might not be difficult to constantly draw comparisons. Why did they go with that line? Why did they put that song here? Why did they shoot it this way? Why did they shorten this? Why did they stretch out that? As someone who didn't really get into the original musical, I got into this fine, but for someone that's a diehard fan, I have no idea what your thoughts are going to be on this. I can definitely say I do prefer watching this one, even though objectively the original is better. It's more influential, it changed a lot more, it's just a grander movie. But this is stuff that just grabs me a little more, because I really do like musicals, but the ones I like are the ones that really focus on conflict and shit going down. That's why I like villain songs and songs where someone just sings fuck it all, like all that stuff. And with the original being so bright and colorful and this one being so aggressive and grim, it's just more up my alley. But what did you think? Did you like this take? Did you think it's faithful to the original, or did you feel it screwed everything up? Also, let me know if you're a die-hard West Side Story fan. I think it's gonna play a big part in whether or not you like this film. Whatever your thoughts might be, I think it is worth checking out. You'll either see it as an interesting experiment, or a decent adaptation with a decent new spin.